Is it possible to build a $0 guitar rig that actually sounds as good as my usual rig, which would consist of a Kemper or a Fractal FM9 or just a couple pedals with real amps? Let's find out today. I want to do this experiment in 3 steps. First off, we're gonna need to find a plugin that is free and sounds actually somewhat good. In the second step, I want to try that plugin and that guitar sound with an actual track. So I'm going to build a short little tune around it. And then in the third step, I want to compare that $0 guitar rig to my usual guitar rig consisting of a Fractal FM9, a couple pedals, and whatever else I have. And see if it actually sounds as good. So let's get right into this. The only rule is I can only use free plugins to whatever I'm doing to my guitar sound. So without further ado, let's get started. So I am plugged straight into my interface and this is the direct sound that I'm getting. Let's use this plugin here, Amp Designer. So, okay, we have dialed up a AC30, I guess this is, right away, and this is how it sounds. That doesn't sound good to me. Let's see what we can do with it. So first off, what I'm hearing, and this is what you should be aware of when you're trying these things and trying to dial in a digital amp. Playing around with these controls, but be prepared that the controls do not work as they would in reality. So it might be that we dial in this amp and it sounds okay, but the controls show something, so the knobs show something completely different than what you're used to with real amps. So let's try and see what we can do here. So what I'm hearing straight away is this is too trebly for me and not enough mids. So let's pull up the mids. See what the mids do. I don't like all this presence. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm kind of okay with that sound, but what I'm missing here is it doesn't really sound like an AC30 because it's too chimey. I know AC30s are chimey, but that is a little bit too much for me. So what I want to do here is, first off, I want to have a little bit more gain. And then I want to use some EQ to get rid of a couple frequencies that I'm hearing that I don't quite like as much. So this is the Logic channel EQ. It's free, so I'm staying within the rules here. This is all legal for this challenge. And what I'm hearing, guys, and this is what you should do if you have a parametric EQ at your fingertips. If you're feeling like there's a frequency that you don't quite like about your sound, you should use a parametric EQ. Get a pretty narrow curve here. And what you need to do then is go through the frequency spectrum and find the frequency that you don't like. Hear that phasing? Do you hear that? The 4K frequency is exactly what I don't like about the sound. Super annoying. Here it's not annoying. Here it's super plucky and super annoying, so I'm gonna cut this frequency like this. And let's hear the difference. Let's turn off the EQ. Okay, so that's way better, but I'm hearing another frequency I want to cut as well. So let's take another narrow curve here and do the exact same thing. I'm actually already hearing it because I've been doing this stuff for years. I've been producing and writing, so I'm hearing 3K is a problem as well. Here's it without the EQ. Ah, man, it's hurting my ears. Now it's way better. So what we're gonna do, because we need to do this to make it sound more amp-like, is I'm gonna cut frequencies right here with the shelf EQ, And that is pretty much what a cabinet would do. After like 6K or above, there's not a lot of frequencies being captured by your guitar cab, usually. So what I'm doing here is cutting a lot of highs out that sound digital and fizzy to me. Let's hear without it. And the last thing I want to do is I'm missing a little bit of body, like a little bit of oomph coming from a cabinet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the frequency here. Usually with guitars at this telly, I'm pretty fast with this because I've played this telly so much and I've mixed this telly so often for songs that you heard on my channel. So for me it's easy to see what frequency that is, but we could do it again like between 200 and 250 or something. I want to have a little bit more body, something like that. Alright, I think I can live with this sound, guys. That is sounding pretty good. If you know what you're doing on the EQ side, I think this Logic plugin with the AC30. Now this sounds like a convincing AC30 to me. This is cool, let's record that, and we're gonna move into step 2 now, which is trying to build a little tune around it. So it's just gonna be a short loop. That sounds pretty good, guys. I'm happy with that result, to be honest. And what I want to do is have another track here, but with a different amp. So let's try something else here. So maybe, how about, boutique British combo. Wow, a lot of reverb here. Let's dial it in real quick. Again, it's not perfect, so the amp itself doesn't sound good enough for me, so I have to, you know, mess around with frequencies again. With this one, I hear different problems. This one is sounding boxy. Boxy frequencies are usually like in the 500 hertz area, something like that. Also, this amp sounds a little bit boomy, so I want to definitely get a low cut. This is what you hear on every record you've ever heard. A low cut below 100 hertz. That's just the most normal thing. You always cut these frequencies because they're way too boomy for a guitar. It helps here as well, sounds a lot more clean now. And I want to play another track, so let's record it. So that's fine, but now maybe we need a third guitar track to have a solo sound so I can properly compare it to my rig when I'm playing a solo. Boutique retro and pawn shop amp, maybe that is something for us. What do we have here? I guess we're gonna need some pedals or some overdrive here. Let's see what I can do. Since I have to do something that is free, why not use the overdrive that Logic has? So this is not even supposed to be a guitar pedal. Let's try what we can do with that. So this is the sound with the Logic overdrive on. A little bit muddy. A little bit too much drive. That actually doesn't sound too bad now. Let's get some treble in. I can definitely work with that. That doesn't sound too bad, but for the solo, I need some delay as well. So let's get a delay here. Delay designer, no. Let's get a tape delay. This is the Logic tape delay. Comes free. Let's high cut it here. Let's use some modulation and flutter. That's good. Now let's hear how that sounds. I think that is amazing. That is a great $0 rig. That sounds good. I mean, the notes have a lot of weight. There's a good sustain. There's a thickness in the mid. I can totally work with that. That's an amazing sound. I mean, what more could you ask for? This is great for like a vintage rock song that we're having here. Nice. Now the question remains, will it be as good as my usual rig with either a Kemper or a Fractal FM9? I'm gonna play the exact same thing with my usual rig and then we can compare. I want to hear your opinion. What do you like better? So here's the final comparison with my usual rig. Let's go. What do you think now? Which rig sounded better? And was there a huge difference between the $0 rig and approximately, I don't know, $2,000 rig? It's up for you to decide. I hope this video helped you finding the right solution for your rig. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.